What's up, guys? Macklin Robinson here, professional goalkeeper.
Cross, and another save from Robinson. How do you do, number one?
Today, we're going to be doing a reaction to XQC's 2026 goalkeeper highlights for the Sidemen charity match. And now, if you don't know, XQC is one of the biggest streamers on the planet. He mainly does reaction-style videos. But he's also notoriously one of the most unathletic and worst goalkeepers to ever put on the gloves. And one of my old buddies, goalkeeper Goaleremi, actually did an analysis and breakdown as a professional goalkeeper himself a couple years ago. But I've heard that XQC has seriously improved since this point, and he actually had a good game this game. So I'm gonna go ahead and check this out. I'll give my own breakdown as an American professional myself. So let's get into the analysis. All right, showing the lineups. I think I heard a comment that he doesn't wear his gloves, and that makes him look weird. I absolutely agree with that. If you're a goalkeeper, you're doing this intro, you've got to wear those gloves, man. It looks like he's wearing almost like a long-sleeve field player jersey. All right, so first real play of the game where XQC faces a shot. He's getting distracted. He's got someone blocking his vision. Ball comes in. Tough one to deal with. Not going to get on him too much here because if you notice, right, he's got a good amount of pressure. KSI pressuring him like he is here is forcing XQC to think that he needs to stay on that near post when he actually needs to drop back here a little bit, because look what happens when this ball comes in. The header comes from basically right in line with that penalty shot. If XQC would have been sitting in the middle of the goal, hadn't gotten sucked up to that near post, this would have been a fairly easy save. It would have been right at him. That's why positioning is so important in goalkeeping. If he just takes 2 or 3 steps to his left, that's a fairly simple save to make. Okay, even though this play seems like it's dead, I still like that he's staying fairly calm. He's not as erratic as he used to be. Now, I absolutely hate how he collected this ball. He needs to turn those hands over so he can scoop it up instead of just tapping it down. That's why that rebound came up there. I have no idea what this guy's doing. He actually does a good job bowling that ball out. It's accurate. This might not be a good sign that I've been more impressed by his rollout than any save I've seen so far, but good. All right, so we're only 3 plays in, and look how calm he's staying, and his position is not bad. How you figure out your proper position as a goalie real quick, if you don't know, you just draw a line from this ball to the center of the goal, and then you put yourself directly over top of that line. You do that every time, you're pretty much in that optimal position. He looks really solid and on point for his position, and he's not being too erratic. He's staying calm, he's staying in that position and waiting for the ball to come to him. A lot of goalkeepers will make it really easy for the strikers to beat you by just coming out right here and opening up that goal. XQC stays calm, and yeah, I would have liked a little bit better collection with those hands, but he does his job. Hate this hand position. He needs to bring his hands down here, right? Because anytime a low ball comes in, he's gonna have a really hard time flipping those hands over and then shooting them down. You've already seen that a couple times with those low balls. He kind of attacks it like this with those palms face down. He needs to turn those hands over, scoop that ball up, and then get it tight tucked away. I even like his set position. He's got a good, nice little forward lean with that upper body, but he's balanced and still and stable through that lower body. Another through ball. Terrible defending. What in the world was that? Good patience, good calmness. I think he's also figuring out too that, hey, these guys, you know, they're not the best players of all time. So if I just don't make it easy on them to beat me, I just kind of stay there, this shot more than likely is just going to come right at me. And it's like, that's not a bad ideology. I actually teach something similar to even my higher level goalkeepers. I mean, it's tough unless you are playing a really good striker that can handle all kinds of pressure. Unless they have a free shot on goal, there is a very high likelihood that that ball is going to be within your range. So you just need to be comfortable, balanced, and ready to react wherever that ball might be. You don't need to be prepared to go for an upper 90 shot. If they score upper 90, it's like, sometimes you just got to do that. So I can definitely say for sure XQC has improved. I'm not sure if he's done any training before this match. I know that Sketch, the opposing team starting goalkeeper, did do some training to help himself improve. So I think XQC might have got some training in as well because he looks a lot better. Yeah, and you can tell he's feeling confident too. I love it. Okay, I skipped this play at first, but apparently they gave this guy in red the penalty for this. I don't even know what to say about it. I do the exact same thing that XQC does right here. Boop. Like, what is that? All right, let's go see how XQC does on this pen right here. Oh, what a save, XQC! Never in my life did I think that I would see XQC save a penalty. Now, to be fair, this number 99 is absolutely horrendous, clearly has no soccer playing ability whatsoever. So he's pretty much on par with XQC. But this is not a bad save. Look at this frame that I have it paused on here. He's not really going early. He manages to go a little late even, but that's great extension. Look at this power step that he takes, right? There. Boom, keeping that upper body weight forward, leading with the hands. The power step is coming from that left foot. He hikes it up, drives it into the ground, and it's able to propel him across. The big thing for me is those solid hands. He made me a little bit nervous right here as that ball bounced up, but because he's leading with those hands, that upper body's gonna follow. He's got enough mass behind the ball to actually slow it down enough to stop it and keep it from that line. Again, I never thought I'd say this, but brilliant penalty save from XQC. I never thought I'd see the day, man. Now it looks like XQC, you see that little point right there? Tells him he's going the opposite way. He's playing mind games and then goes down to the correct side. That's high-level goalkeeping right there. That's awesome. Hold on, what happened here? I might have spoke too soon. Okay, here's the play. I definitely spoke too soon. One of the worst kicks I've ever seen in my entire life. He's completely out of position. Ball comes at it, but it goes right through his legs. I think it's pretty obvious the solve here, guys. Don't kick it to the other team right on top of your box, and then don't fall backwards and let the ball go through your legs. He's leaning backwards. That's why it ends up going through his legs. I made that comment in the penalty save that the reason he was able to stop that ball, even though it was that close, closer than this shot right here, is because he was leaning and going forward. He was obviously a little startled. He kicked it to the opposite team. Quick touch, shot on. He was completely out of sorts and missed it because of that. Yep, here's a good slow-mo to see him lean back, right? He's not attacking that ball. You have got to meet that force with force opposing it. Yeah, millimeter solid. He knows what he's doing. Oh, spoke too soon on that one as well. That's what I want to see XQC do more often, is that scoop instead of just putting those palms face down. Another breakaway through ball. Yeah, it's a good goal. He does himself a disservice here, though. See how he's set off that middle of the goal? He needs to be about a half step to his right, and look how close he gets to it. It passes him by about a foot. If he is that half a step over here when that shot comes off, I think he makes that save. So again, you're probably going to hear me repeat it a lot throughout this video, but that positioning is so huge in goalkeeping. Yes, if you can make some big-time saves, you'll probably be pretty decent, but you want to be a high-level goalkeeper that saves pretty much everything, you have got to take care of that positioning. Just that last little shift over there at the end did him in. If he would have just held that position just a half step less, he didn't take that one step over. Now obviously it's very difficult, right, when that striker is taking you the opposite way of where that shot's going to end up. That's why he ends up taking that extra step, but it's something that you've got to be aware of. Good talk there. I'm seeing him motion with his hands and everything, telling people to get back, get their marks. I love that. Love that. Don't love that at all. Again, he's just going with those palms face down. Turn those hands over, X. Just scoop that thing up. You'll be fine. Long ball over top. He probably could have came out there and maybe cut it off. Yeah, he should have. That's exactly what he should have done. So right here, when he sees that guy motioning, hey, I want that long ball over top, and then he puts his head down ready to strike, this is when I'd start to creep up a little bit. Creep up, because I'd see him, and I'd see him, and I'd say, all right, I'm going to see if I can beat any of these strikers to this ball. By the time that ball lands, if he's right here, I think he can get to that ball first because it's moving towards him. Yeah, it may not be the best clearance of all time, but as long as he just gets it wide, then we avoid this happening where he just gets to walk in and then just blast it from inside the penalty spot. It's a good finish. I mean, I'd probably even have a tough time saving this one. Another through ball long over the top. That one he should have stayed for. That's exactly what he did. That's atrocious. That's an XQC save if I've ever seen one. Again, it's because he's leaning back. I don't even need to see the slow-mo there. So here, I'll pause it exactly where you see that lean. He's here, he's here, he's here, he's set, he's good, he's fine, he's leaning forward, And then when that ball goes through the legs, notice how instead of coming here and attacking the ball, he's diving at a backwards diagonal angle, almost like he's diving towards that post, instead of either exactly horizontal or preferably going out, like I said, attacking that ball. Because of that, right, he's not able to adjust for that force on the ball, meet it with an appropriate amount of force from his hands, it dribbles right through and goes right underneath him. Oh, Oh, that's a rough shot. Yeah, the other thing is, too, he's got to do a much better job of keeping that eye on the ball. If you notice, when he gets to that full extension right here, he's not looking at that ball all the way through. He picks his head up. That's probably because he's got a little bit of fear that when that ball is getting shot in at him, sometimes it's going to deflect, might come up and hit him in the face, so he's trying to turn away at the last second. Can't do that. The best goalkeepers in the world, they are some of the most brave human beings on the planet. They are not afraid to take a ball to the face at 80 miles an hour. Alisson is a great example of that. He keeps his eye on the ball all the way through until he makes that save. Good scoop. There we go. That's all I need. Right there. It's interesting to me how he does it like half the time and then the other half the time he doesn't. I just think no one's ever told him, hey, you need to turn those hands over when you're going to scoop the ball up. All right, corner kick. Ball gets batted down. It's kind of messing around in there. Come on, I'm out, X. Oh. See, and here's where Sketch really differentiates himself from someone like XQC, where he has that natural bravery. If you watch my breakdown of Sketch's goalkeeping performance during this game, he makes probably 10 breakaway saves, and they're not particularly like hard to make. All he does is he just stays there in his proper angle, makes himself big, and lets people just shoot it at him. But X kind of just hangs out in that goal. He's a little bit more patient, and so I'll show you right here. He needs to come out. Now he just gets set. I would just be coming out as big as I can, watching, waiting, and reacting. Now, I still might not make that save, but I have a lot better chance than just letting him just roof that ball into the top of the net from inside the 6-yard box. And now it's confusing. Granted, I mean, this is a tough situation to deal with. A lot of things that you got to react to and deal with. But again, you just have those simple goalkeeper habits that can really make up for a lot, and he might have been able to pull off this save. All right, ball in off a throw-in, comes back, service into that box, completely whiffs, the defender does, to KSI. Again, XQC leaning back. He just doesn't have that natural inclination to just go towards that ball when it's coming at him real quick. And that's what causes him to miss a lot of these shots that he should be saving, even though they hit his hands. Like, he hits his hands there, that should be an easy save. But look, again, shot comes in. He's at that perfect angle. If I drew that line, it's almost right on the money. But watch him dive towards that post again instead of directly horizontal, right? He should be basically moving in line parallel to that goal mouth or going forward. Instead, he's diving backwards towards that post. He doesn't have enough momentum or mass again behind that ball. He misses it. It goes right through his hands. And he knows he should be doing better here. Yeah, not a good shot, not a great save. Another long ball over the top. Yeah, that seems to be the answer here to score goals at this charity match. Just send it over top, see if that back line can deal with it at all. Well, that's a good shot, tough shot. I don't think he got a touch on that. Nice little dink in. That's better, XQC. That's what I'm looking for. Now, obviously, I am not happy with him turning his head completely as he came out. However, this is what I'm looking for as far as that breakaway save. When you don't have a defender on there pressuring and you're really at that last resort save mindset, this is what you need to do. Attack that ball, make yourself big. Now, I hate here, right? He's obviously terrified. Again, that's in line with what I just said previously, where he just can't help himself but kind of lean back because he's naturally afraid of that ball. And then he completely turns his body. But because he has good enough know-how, at least in this situation, to come out and meet that ball with a little bit of force, he's able to get something on it and make a halfway decent save and then cover up on it the second time around. But that's what we more need to see. He probably would have made quite a few more saves if he had done this throughout the match. Good Lord. Go with your hands, X. Oh, he's so afraid, dude. He's getting good at that short ball out, though. I'll give him that. Oh, Jinx, what are we doing? No. Oh, that's a finish and a half. I don't know if I have anything for that one. That one's just good shot. Minimeter can definitely sling one. Yeah, nothing to do on that one. He had to cover both sides of the goal. Good deception, too, by Minimeter. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That thing is moving. It was past him again before X could even got there. Okay, we got a free kick. This is the first one I've seen XQC set up, and he's making a mistake right here. He needs to be in line with that post when he's lining up his wall. If you're not lined up on that post, which is what you're supposed to use as a reference to set that last person sitting in the middle of the goal, it's going to be off, right? You're not going to have him directly in line with that post. So there is an option to then bend that ball around the wall if it's not properly set up. So let's see how this goes. Okay, what is it? This isn't even a wall. You got to get tighter. Call for him to get tighter. Okay, not the greatest free kick of all time. Gets at least a decent enough hand on it. He's able to stop it, and even second time around too. Not really a lot of ability to hold that ball, but he at least did his job. Oh, that made me nervous. That was a good hold right there. If he would have gave that up, that striker was coming in. He's had a lot of balls pop out on shots like that, right? If he would have dropped it here, it would have spilled, boom, goal again. They would have been tied. Yeah, definitely an improvement. The first match he played, I swear he missed every shot that came at him. Like that. Oh my God. That's horrendous. Into the middle from KSI. No pressure whatsoever. Has to be. Good Lord. I can tell that ball had quite a bit of knuckle on it. It completely threw him off. A lot of young goalkeepers or people that have never played in the goal might be surprised. Sometimes it is harder to deal with shots that are farther away from you than shots that are actually closer. And the reason for that is that ball has a lot more ability to deviate off that flight path when it has more distance to travel. When it's closer, it's pretty much going to be in a straight line, especially if it's hit really hard at you. If you've got 20, 25 yards, this looks like it's about a 23-yard shot. It is going to move if you hit that thing right. So it looked like he maybe thought it was going the opposite way. It maybe curved, knuckled a little bit, and went the other direction. And so he was completely unsettled because of it. Yeah, this is going to be a great angle. Oh yeah, called it. Yup. Completely thrown off by that shot. That's one X where you just got to face enough shots where then you can start to predict and read that knuckle. That's a tough skill to learn though. So I'm not going to be too harsh on X here. Here we are. We're heading into penalties. I knew this was going to happen. This is kind of what I've been waiting for right here. He saved a penalty in the game. I want to see how XQC does on some of these penalties that he faces because I was fairly impressed with that penalty save he made. But I've got to say though, Sketch just absolutely out egos, out confidences XQC. That's probably what I would say is the biggest X factor when it comes to pens, just that confidence. Why is the coach taking this penalty? He's literally got khakis on. Oh, X, man. Oh. Here's the other thing too, you know, we compare Sketch to XQC. XQC actually looks like a goalkeeper. I said it at the start. He's got that length, he's got that height. Meanwhile, Sketch is like this short, frumpy, short-armed little dude. Looks like he'd be the most unathletic person on the planet. Here's the thing, when you actually have shorter arms, it's less for you to have to control, and you're actually quicker reacting with those shorter arms. When you have longer arms, it takes more coordination to get those long arms into the proper spot with enough force and mass behind them to actually stop that ball. So that's why you'll see XQC flailing at a lot of these shots that are within his range and still missing them, is because he has that length, but he's not trained enough over the years to work on that coordination and get those long arms up. So Sketch actually has an advantage with shorter arms, which seems counterintuitive. All right, I'd say shooting this ball to the right. Nope, completely off on that one. That is a good pen. I think if X even guesses the right way on that one, he's not getting close. I don't even know if I would have got to that one. It's a decent shot. Good placement. All right, so they're not in a good spot. Sidemen missed their first two pens completely. They didn't even make it on goal. So they're already down by 2. X is in a really tough spot. Yeah, opposite way. No chance. No chance. All right, so this is for the win, Mr. Who's the Boss. And that's exactly what happens. Another good goal. X even guesses the right way, but with his ability and coordination, there was no chance he was getting to that ball. So we already knew the results. The YouTube All-Stars win. Sketch manages to pull it off without even making a single save in that goal, at least for the penalty shootout. Gotta say, I am fairly impressed with XQC. He has definitely improved a good bit since that last Sidemen charity match in 2025. Obviously still not the best YouTube goalkeeper out there. I would still give it to Sketch. He's leagues above XQC. I'll offer up my services like I did to Sketch. X, if you ever want a goalkeeper trainer coach to come in and get you up to speed, I almost guarantee you work with me for a month, you fly me out, we'll do some training. I can win you that MVP for 2027. All right, till next time, guys. Peace.